The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
We are live with the 3-cam setup in effect on the stream, Harry. So however you consume this show visually, you'll see new and innovative ways as the show moves on. We've got some rips to get to. People not happy at all about fan interaction. We've got, I guess, the quietest week we'll ever see in the history of the NFL, at least here in Philadelphia, where normally there's built up expectation and hype for week one, and there hasn't been that at all.
No, we haven't had that yet.
And I doubt there's going to be any discussion about week 4. So here we are, already ignoring the kickoff of the regular season with the Skins, and combine that with a meaningless preseason game. I don't think there'll be any talk unless we want to dive deeper into Andrew Luck.
Well, I mean, there's Andrew Luck stuff still. We're going to have Matt Lombardo on today at 12:30. Of course, from the NJ.com, who wrote that piece over the weekend, just sort of saying, hey, maybe the Giants could flip Eli Manning to the Colts and give him a nice landing spot with a team that's, built to go to the playoffs, and give Daniel Jones the start of the season because, he's obviously the heir apparent and eventually going to supplant Eli anyway. So we're going to talk to him at 12:30. We'll talk a little Giants, too, since they are in the division. But, yeah, you talk about this week. This is like that final week of vacation that people get in. They combine it with Labor Day weekend, which gives you the extra day coming up this weekend. And it's sort of that last sort of gasp until, everybody gets back to school or everybody gets back into work mode and football mode, which will start, great guns next Tuesday, because then we'll only be 2 days away from the kickoff of the NFL with the Packers and the Bears.
I know. And at that point, I think, is when you're really going to get the depth of it. And I understand, like at that point, once you get actual NFL football and the dailies are in effect and you can start betting on Thursday and the opening of the season, I understand that'll lead into a little earlier.
Yeah.
But it just seems so quiet.
It is quiet, but I'll tell you what, quiet is good in a lot of respects when it comes to your NFL football team. Quiet would take quiet over a lot of noise, because the noise usually means bad stuff is going on or you got problems. I don't think the Eagles have any problems now. Now, maybe Howie Roseman makes a big trade between now and the start of the regular season. Who knows?
All right, let me clarify. When I say quiet, I don't mean the opposite of quiet is somebody throwing his girlfriend down the stairs or somebody getting arrested for, beating his child or somebody getting, in major trouble or
a cocaine bust like Patrick Chung, right? Something like that.
Okay, but I would say it also doesn't mean A.J. Green out for the season either. I think quiet is lack of discussion. And listen, I'm not trying to go down the road of
where's the buzz?
No.
Is that where you're going here today?
I promise you.
Because it sounds like you're building a case that there's the lack of buzz in the fan base.
I've never heard it. And see, now you've painted me in a corner that's impossible to get out of, because that's not, shame on you, because that's not the way I was going. Look, this is the 3-cam shot.
Yeah, I see this. This is the first time ever, right?
Yeah, now we're gonna fix some things here. The lighting's gonna change. We got more stuff coming today that's gonna go up on the walls. So we're not done with this thing by any means. But my point of it is this. It's not that I want people to focus on a lack of buzz. I'm not trying to drive a show with you for the next 2 hours about why there's no buzz. But I think that there is a lack of just discussion about, man, the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Like, think about that. How often have you, and I don't mean for the purposes of what we do, I'm not trying to get texts at the text board or tweets. I didn't even give out those numbers or information just to show you that. I'm not looking for
reaction.
No.
Yeah.
But my point of it is that we've lived in such a city of extremes for so long that it's hard for me to think that just because they won the Super Bowl, sans Carson Wentz, not Sansa Stark.
No.
But sans Carson Wentz, it's hard for me to think that all of a sudden this discussion is gone about how confident people – like this is a team where if Carson Wentz is healthy, this team should be in the NFC Conference Championship.
Absolutely they should. That's my expectation. They have to get to the NFC title game.
Yes. Right. Yes. And listen, you and I are not having this conversation to drive interaction. We clarify that again. But it just seems so weird that there has been so few amount of days or moments, I feel like, even especially off this show, where there's been so little about, hey, the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl this year.
Well, I listen to some of these national shows, and I'm hearing a lot of buzz about the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of guys are very high on the Eagles and taking them to the lengths that you and I expect them to go. I mean, they're like, I really like Philly. Philly's loaded this year.
Yeah.
They keep, stay healthy like every team needs to stay healthy. That offensive line, is back, in full bloom. Wentz is healthy for a change coming into the season. They got him more weapons. The defensive front is one of the best you'll see. They've got an abundance of cornerbacks and defensive backs that a few years ago was a glaring hole. I mean, they're loaded. So that's what I'm hearing.
Okay. I just don't think that maybe we've had other things in front of us. I know the Phillies have given us like every week an opportunity to buy in.
They're only a game out.
For remorse.
They're a game out.
Yeah. You saw somebody DM'd us. OB DM'd us today.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Telling you not to fall back into that trap.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I guess the most compelling thing that came into today would be the Sean Rodriguez
audio, Sean
right?
Rodriguez wins the game last night with a bomb in extra innings, okay? They give up the game in the top of the ninth, and then I have to watch Bryce Harper strike out with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth, so they got to go to extra innings. But don't worry, Sean Rodriguez, he's a beast against left-handed hitting. That's what we were told, right?
Correct.
Well, he hits a home run off a righty last night. He is all of he's got 5 hits since the All-Star break in 26 official at-bats.
What's he hitting?
He's struck out 13 times. That's half of his at-bats. He's finished with a strikeout. He's hitting .214. And then he's asked in the locker room, in the clubhouse, excuse me. It's clubhouse in baseball.
It is.
Locker room in football.
Correct.
All right. He's asked about the booing, because they're hearing it from the fans. And we have the audio, and I listened to this morning, and I sent it to Josh. I don't know if you've heard it.
No, I haven't.
But
I've heard people reacting to it, but I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's driven sports talk radio all morning long in Philadelphia. Let's just listen to it. There we go. Sean Rodriguez.
I'm not the one booing. I'm not the one screaming. I'm not the one saying pretty disgusting things at times. It seems pretty entitled. I mean, you're just making yourself look pretty bad as an individual, as a person, as a fan. You're making guys not want to basically sit there and say, hey, they're going to support you. Hey, they're going to do this. That's tough. There's still a lot of good fans, though. And those are the ones I hear. Those are the ones I pay attention to. The few that might be behind home plate to say, hey, Sean, keep doing your thing. Don't worry about it. Things will come around. Hey, Reese. Hey, so-and-so. Hey, Bryce. Through the thick and thin, that's when you really get to show your true colors. So when you act a certain way towards somebody because you don't feel like they're doing what they need to do, just look at life in general. I mean, we want to win. There's nobody in here that doesn't want to win. You got to just basically sit there and say, man, let me see if I can't help him get out of what he's in. Let me see if I can't be encouraging enough to basically help an individual. That's the harder thing to do. The easy thing is just to scream boo. Let me think of something to say that actually might be encouraging. I know it takes effort.
See, this is the problem with it when you have a manager like
Gabe
it's
Kapler. Direct. It's a direct.
This is a
it
direct.
Sounds like Gabe Kapler.
It does.
Talking.
It does.
These
guys have been told, hey, everything's you're doing great, patting on the back for going 2 for 30,
13 Ks and 26 at bats.
Exactly. All this stuff is positive. That's the effect of this. Okay. So you mean to tell me there's actually fans sitting behind home plate saying, hey, Sean, go get him, man. You'll snap out of it. Like support. Like, are you serious?
I don't think there's anybody down there that can pick Sean Rodriguez out of a lineup.
Well, I know. He's so irrelevant. Now, he hit a home run last night when he won the game, so good for him.
Great. No, and I'm not coming down on him.
He's a 214 hitter. Why do I care what he has to say?
I don't think anybody cares what he does outside of the opportunity that might come around every now and again to hit a big shot like he did and win a baseball game. But,
he's lucky to be in the league.
Yeah, I think at this point, anybody on this team that's barely surviving.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason
really
he's here is because he can play multiple positions. That's really it. good for him. He's managed to scratch out a 12-year career. He bounced around to a bunch of teams, had some success with the Pirates a few years ago. Great for him. But I don't need him telling the fans how to be fans.
No, and I don't think and this is the difference. And I don't want to sound. Let me preface this by saying to you and anybody out there listening. And again, the text board is simple: 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973. Yes, Sean Rodriguez talking to you, as well as a lot of other people out there who do not make it down to games, and also the reflection of it being a bigger statement by Gabe Kapler, which is where I want to go. And again, I'm not taking Sean Rodriguez off the hook on anything. He's still the person who said what he did, but I feel like this is such a bigger issue of perception. I feel like the optics inside versus outside that clubhouse are such a big fishbowl difference, where there are guys inside that locker room that truly believe the majority, if not all, of Philadelphia fans should act towards them like his manager does in Gabe Kapler. And the reality is that in this city, that couldn't be further from the truth. Mm-hmm. So I think what happens is, it's unfortunate for Sean Rodriguez that Sean Rodriguez is the one who said it, because he doesn't have a lot of weight.
No, he doesn't have any weight.
Right. But the point of it being is that I wouldn't focus solely or really a lot, and I'm not saying for you, I'm just saying in general, on Sean, only because this could have come from anybody. And if it came from Jake Arrieta, if it came from Aaron Nola, if it came from Bryce Harper, I still would have the same problem, Harry, which is it sounds like the manager regurgitated because of this mentality.
I know.
That's my point, is that it's convenient for some people to just pour this all on Sean Rodriguez, and that's not going to solve anything.
No.
Like, you get rid of Sean Rodriguez after the end of the year, that doesn't solve this mentality. It still permeates throughout the locker room.
Right, as long as Kapler's here.
Right, and this isn't a mandate to fire him. It's just showing people. I think this is a perfect example, Harry, of just how different the guys, including the manager, inside that locker room see things versus how the fans outside that locker room see things, including people that go down to the games.
Like Rhys Hoskins can't find it right now. He is struggling. He is just terrible right now. And he's in the leadoff spot, and basically all he's been able to do is look at a lot of pitches for the other guys, show everybody what this guy has tonight, because he can't catch a break.
He's a pawn on a chessboard.
Right. But, I don't think he has necessarily a problem if he's getting booed. Right? And Bryce Harper, I know, doesn't have a problem getting booed. He gets the fact that I make $330 million when I screw up or strike out with the bases loaded. There's going to be a smattering of boos. I get it. It comes with the territory. There's a lot of guys in that clubhouse. They don't need anybody to speak for them, especially this guy.
Understand.
Right?
Right. I get that. I just think that you still have a general assessment where we've seen this from the manager. And Bryce, nobody else has really talked much at all. Mm-mm. I mean, honestly, Jake Arrieta, but he came down on other people and then got shelled and shut down.
Right.
So I don't know what he really got out of that.
I mean, what should he have said?
Arrieta?
No, Rodriguez. He should have said something like, "Hey, I was glad to hear, the fans applauding me for the home run. I know I've been struggling lately. I get it. I deserve, I hear some boos. I feel their pain." Something like that on the order would have been so much better than this. Because now he's put a bullseye on himself for future at-bats where he screws up and strikes out with a man on or whatever. He comes up as a pinch hitter.
You're right. And I think, honestly, that's why you don't say anything at this point. You kind of just hold your head down and keep it moving and players speak as many answers as you can.
Glad to contribute. I've been struggling lately.
Don't even mention the fans.
I feel the fans' pain. Whatever. I was glad to deliver for them tonight. Boom.
Why
done.
not just hold it up? See, if you hold this up your sleeve, it's never going to work. But at least you have some ammunition. At least people like us and other people who are going to look at it a little deeper with whatever platform you have are going to recognize that if he held that card up his sleeve, and then the next time he went out and went 0 for 2 in a key couple of at-bats, and fans were booing him, and somebody stuck a microphone in his face because it's the bottom of the ninth, there's 2 outs, and he goes down 0-3 looking or swinging, whatever the hell, doesn't matter at that point.
Doesn't matter.
Then at least he can come back and say, well, where were you guys booing when I knocked that ball out of the park? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something he could hold. But instead, he pulled out first.
Yeah.
And instead, he showed his hand. And I think that cost him. Now, again, to your point initially, the player is more inconsequential than not. But the message, I think, stands firm. Bryce Harper is probably the only person on that team that I would attribute the, and I say this in a positive sense, maverick trait to where no matter what he's being told or spoon-fed, it just doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, you ain't telling Bryce Harper nothing.
Right.
And I'm totally okay with that.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, Bryce Harper's he's doing his own thing. Like, you know, I used to see these guys out there in like, if you ever played not good football, but with a really good football player, you know, there was a good guy that went on and played like, you know, semi and a little pro. And they always told him in my high school, they were like, all right, man, everybody had a response, just play football. That was his responsibility. He was like a strong safety linebacker. Just play football.
I saw there was some Peter Gammons was tweeting about some baseball player from your old high school.
The Gunnery?
That is killing it in the minor leagues right now.
Wait a second. The Gunnery?
Yeah. Yeah, I know where you went.
Well,
I saw it yesterday.
Luco's kid went there. Is Luco still with the Flyers?
No, I think he's with the Florida Panthers, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I need to look
Peter
this
Luco.
up.
Right.
Yes, Peter Luco.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll apologize to Mr. Luco and the family. Peter Luco. Gammons tweet the Gunnery, right?
Yes.
That's all I need to look up?
Some pitcher, I think.
Big time buzz. Hold on a second here. Let's stop the press. Oh, this is 2016.
No, that's not it. This is just yesterday.
This just in.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I haven't been back there in a while.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
do you think they'd let me on campus?
Do they ask you for money?
They stopped.
They stopped?
Yeah.
Just because you haven't given them any? They usually just keep going. Here it is, right here.
Because they
just
can't find me. That's why.
Done perfect for travelers in short start. The pride of the Gunnery School. Right there you go.
What's his name?
His name is
fifth-ranked Seattle Mariners prospect, Justin Dunn.
Justin Dunn.
I love it.
Yeah,
he's out there in Double-A. We should get him on the show.
Get him on a show.
How do we track him down? Josh Hunter?
No
I mean, is anybody gonna? It seems like we don't get any help in that regard.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not taking a shot. I'm just saying, like,
it sounded like a shot.
No, that's why I'm clarifying it. Didn't mean.
Yeah.
No.
See, there, Josh heard it.
Trust me, you'll know when it's a shot. I promise. There will be no guessing. No, I'm saying, like, could anybody help us with that? Maybe I should rephrase that.
Well, you just reach out to whatever minor league this Mariners minor league team has a PR guy. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to get some attention.
Okay, so I shouldn't have to go through my
I don't think it's that tough.
I shouldn't have to go through the alumni board.
No. Don't. As far as they're concerned,
I'm dead.
You're
dead
to
them.
Yes.
They can't get in touch with
because
me.
if you call them to get them to do something for you, then you're back on the radar. Right. Oh, Eytan's a big radio a hot shot host in Philly. We need money out of him.
No. They're not getting anything. Gettysburg still reaches out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now, I feel like I owe a lot more to...
What's their endowment? They got to have a ton of money.
Oh, my God. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The amount of money that they bring in. And they've grown.
Yeah.
Because when I was there, they were building stuff.
Sure.
Like when I was
all
there.
These campuses are making themselves into cities themselves.
I went back, man, it must have been like 3 or 4 years ago. So this is late 30s. I'd already been out for 15 years or so. And I went back and saw the town is pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. There may be another restaurant or two, but the town is pretty much the same. Meanwhile, the school has gone from Gettysburg College to like what a university looks like.
Right.
The science center is like state of the art. I mean, the athletics have just been okay for men's stuff outside of lacrosse. The women's stuff was really good. I think the soccer team was good when I was there, but I fell off following what was going on. I was always conflicted though because I went to I'm very fortunate enough to go to both like a really good high school and then got in because of that high school more so than not to this college.
Right.
Now, the college, at that point, I
went on a recruiting trip.
At Gettysburg?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by the time I was at Gettysburg, my mind had already been warped. I'd already been formed.
And then the old man found out how much it costs
it was a lot,
how much they could give me, which was a very big imbalance. And he's like, we're out of here.
Yeah,
where's that Shippensburg place? That's right down the road, right? They liked you too, didn't they? And I'm like, yeah, they did. Let's go there.
The idea was to go into football and then play lacrosse. But football was the recruit visit and go in. was D3, so anybody can play, most people. And, the idea was to go in there and see the school and do it. I had a recruiting trip and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll play lacrosse too, whatever. I played goalie for like 2 years in high school thinking, yeah, I can play that. And then I go in there and I sit down and I talk to the lacrosse coach, and they were nasty when I was there, because this is another way to get more aid, right? You play a couple sports, you get aid. And the coach sat me down and it's like, yeah, well, I already brought in 4 goalies. And I'm thinking, well, okay, how good could this be? It's D3. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are getting it. And he starts running me down. And they're all from 4, legit high schools around the country.
Like lacrosse factories.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Out on Long Island. There were probably a couple kids from Long Island, right?
Unbelievable,
A couple kids from Maryland. I heard the text board is popping.
All right, let's get into that. Yeah, Josh, we're on Facebook, all right? So otherwise, because you're going to it's going to sound like you're going down on the air. John and Cape May, though, before we get to unless you want to come in on the air, which we welcome, John in Cape May wants to talk a little bit, though, before we jump into the text board. The text board, 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973. First, John, though, in Cape May. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys, love the show. Listen to you guys every day. Wish we could move you up to 10 a.m. Right from Mike and Mike to you guys. That would be good. Can we talk to somebody about that?
Well, that's above our pay grade.
I mean, first off, I think the first person you have to convince is Harry. And once you get Harry on board, then it flows upstream, to be honest with you, as crazy as that
because that would mean I'd have to come over here to Eytan's crib around 9 in the morning.
9:30.
That's pretty early.
Tough. You're talking to a guy that woke up around 4:30. So
well, I get up at 5, but I got a lot of stuff to do. I get up at 5 every day.
John sounds like he's actually working.
John's a guy who actually works for a living.
Hey, guys, I want to be devil's advocate here. I've coached baseball for a long time. I've played it for a long time. And the baseball game, one thing you want to teach about to these kids is the game is between your ears. Baseball is a very mental game. Football, you hear the boos, you're going to act on them. You can physically act in more of a way. In baseball, once you get in somebody's head, you got them. If a pitcher gets in, and that's why a lot of pitchers, they're slow to come to the plate or whatever. They're trying to get in the guy's head. Mm-hmm. This guy is right by what he said. I mean, it's saying it to a Philly fan is probably not the smartest thing in the world, but he is absolute. If I'm coaching my kids, I'm telling them, it's going to be next time you're going to get up, you're going to do better. All right, hang in there. Just like he said, it's the pop. Do I like the coach Gabe? Mm-hmm. Not so much. I'm not analytic. I'm an old school guy.
Right, me too.
But, for what he said.
John, let me jump in real quick, if I may. I feel like
sure.
If I can paint a picture of what an analogy is, I agree that there has to be, I'm not against constructive, it's not even criticism, positive reinforcement. When you strike out 0-3 in the count and you don't get the bat off your shoulders and you're blown away and you want to try to find some positive reinforcement to keep somebody going, to keep somebody involved, I'm all for that. I recognize as a coach, as someone hands-on, you have to be able to do that with kids to 21-year-olds to 30-year-olds. I get it. But what's happening here, I think, the blowback from this team, if I can just paint an analogy, is like going through a post you put on Facebook and deleting all the negative comments and just
acting like they don't exist.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think that's not what you're telling your kids as far as, hey, anybody, and again, you're talking about kids, so nobody's booing your kids, right? But I'm saying, as far as somebody even in high school or college level, if you're getting booed, it's like you have to accept the fact that if you're playing bad, there are going to be people booing you. But that doesn't mean that you can't continue to be a positive reinforcer.
Well, is it right is the question. The question, I think, is it's not right. I mean, these are young men that I coach, and there's some people that are really, off the wall with it.
I don't think you should be booing little leaguers or high school
right.
players.
How young? Help clarify though, John. What age are we talking about?
Okay, let's talk about Babe Ruth baseball. We'll go there. Okay.
Oh I mean, listen.
Coaches, right?
Yeah, nobody. I mean, you're talking 13, right?
No way.
Nobody should be booing. No, and I understand. You probably have to deal with the equivalent of the boo is the helicopter parent.
Right.
that's standing over trying to manage the kid right at the at-bat.
Yeah, telling the manager he needs to do something different. Yeah.
Thanks, John. It's a good call.
Good phone call.
Great show, man. Great.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
I think he brings up an interesting point about the difference between positive reinforcement and just deleting the Facebook comments that are holding you accountable. Like, we can't delete.
Right.
We accept.
Yes. Everything.
Is Gil still on vacation?
Gil's on vacation.
All right. Let me tell you all about something. You got something first, though?
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was going to let everybody know. Now, we've got a couple of guests coming up. 12:30's Matt Lombardo.
NJ.com covers the Giants.
Right?
Yes.
And we had to move Lombo because at 1:10, this is huge.
Rod Carey, the head football coach, the new football coach at Temple, will
Brand
join us.
new.
Yes.
All right. Make sure you are taking advantage of $250 free, risk-free. It's a bet that you can make up to $250 courtesy of Parks Casino and us. It's parkscasino.com/MES. parkscasino.com/MES. Mays Eytan Show, and use our promo code WINNER. Take it down right now. Again, parkscasino.com/MES. Promo code WINNER. And you can walk away with a $250 risk-free bet. All you need to do is put in your information. That's it. There's no contest. You don't have to call in. You don't have to win anything. It's free. parkscasino.com/MES. Promo code WINNER.
You're listening to the Mays and Eytan Show.